The oldest sport in Mexico is alive and well in LA. And why Latino designers love LA. Vista LA is next. Now, wine made easy with Señorita Vino and LA's only Latino-owned winery. Plus, the hidden gem turning out thousands of the best tamales.
I'm Giovanna Lotta, and this is Vista LA.
I'm Danny Romero, and this is Vista LA. In many countries, having wine at the dinner table is part of the culture. And one Latina writer has taken the tradition to heart, traveling the world to learn all about wine. And now, she's sharing with us.
I knew that wine was something special, and somehow in my work or in my life, I just wanted to incorporate it into everything I did.
You could say Pamela Pajuelo wines and writes, but it's not what you might think.
The name of my blog is Señorita Vino.
So tell me, what inspired you to write your blog?
A newspaper article I read 2 years ago that said for the first time, wine consumption among U.S. Hispanics had surpassed wine consumption among the general market. So wine and Latinos, that for me signaled that, okay, if more of us are drinking wine, then more of us need to be smart consumers. I decided to create the blog primarily for a Latina audience, and my whole mission is to demystify it.
Señorita Vino takes a simple but sensible approach to wine education.
I think a so-called wine expert might look at my blog and say, oh, this is so simplified. Well, you know what? That's the point. I write the blog is in very, very simple terms with a dose of humor. I use that tone to just let people know, hey, we're gonna have a good time here. We're gonna have some laughs.
The blog is filled with lighthearted yet thoughtful information. Certified in viticulture, Pamela is the only Latina blogging exclusively about wine, paying particular attention to wine and Latin countries.
One of the biggest things I discovered was the influence of Latin Americans on winemaking in the Americas. During the time of the Spanish conquest, the mothership mandated that some of the New World, Peru, Chile, Argentina, just start making wine to ship back to the home country. So viticulture started very early. In fact, today, the oldest working winery in the Americas is in Mexico, Casa Madero. I've got people following me from Australia, from South America, from Germany, from Switzerland, from England. The blog initially was written for Latinas, but really it's universal, and I love that.
She created Señorita Vino in 2011, but her introduction to wine began during childhood.
So tell me about your background.
My parents are both from Peru. They came to the United States in 1962, and we grew up trying to preserve the cultures of our families. And so during meals and dinners and first communions and special occasions, there would be wine on the table. Wine sort of was this glue that brought all of these beautiful components together. And I knew at that point it had the power to do that.
And now, Pamela has the power to tell insightful stories of Latinos in the winemaking industry.
When was your harvest?
It was early this year.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, look at these.
We joined Pamela on a visit to Reyes Winery in Agua Dulce, the only Latino-owned winery in Los Angeles County.
How did you get into winemaking? What drew you to this?
You know, since I was a kid, as a matter of fact, back in the Dominican Republic, I bought this property not really thinking that it would develop into a winery, but more of a place where I would have a little vineyard to make wine for family and friends, but it developed into what it is today, a commercial venture. We produce 5 varietals here in the vineyard. We have Cabernet, Syrah, Merlot, Chardonnay, and Muscat. And out of those, we've made blends, and it's working out really great.
Sometimes when you get older, you realize the importance of connecting with the earth. And I think you really picked the right path here.
This is very rewarding work. It's hard work, and I would rather be doing this than anything else right now.
Want to know the best wines to choose for those holiday get-togethers? Go to the Vista LA page on Facebook right now for Señorita Vino's expert tips.
All right, we're good, you guys. Gotta go.
For a fashion designer trying to make their mark, there's nothing like a runway show to showcase what you've got. The crowds, the lights, the music. And at Latino Fashion Week's Los Angeles premiere, promising young designers like Walter Mendez are given that chance to shine.
My women's contemporary line is a very flowy, feminine, chic. I like to create with soft silhouettes and mix them with like hard pieces because I want my women to feel sexy, but sexy from within. I just love it because I feel like Latino designers lack a platform to be able to promote and encourage other Latino designers.
Started in Chicago, Latino Fashion Week now tours 5 cities in the U.S. and Puerto Rico.
We've been around for 7 years, and we're the only ones in the whole country that do a full week and tour dedicated to Latinos in fashion. LA is one of the premier areas when you're talking about fashion, but also when you're talking about the Latino community. I mean, we've got such a strong Latino community here. We're very excited because we're able to highlight a couple of local designers.
My label is Sochi, Los Angeles. This is my first Latino Fashion Week. Our designs are graphic t-shirts, polos, and denim. So we have an amazing core denim. We have a luxurious polo collection and a very hip, young graphic t-shirt collection. What I think that the Latino Fashion Week brings to Los Angeles and just fashion in general is putting Latinos on the face of the fashion arena. It's definitely necessary, especially so many amazing fashion pieces coming from Mexico that it's definitely inspiring the fashion community all over the world.
Pinaco Balin is a Mexican brand, and we're excited to be here because we share all the designs that we have with the United States and the Latin American community that we have here in Los Angeles.
LA is a huge fashion venue. Like most people think in the States it's all about New York and overseas like Milan and Paris, but like what people don't realize is that this is Hollywood where trends are set, celebrities. It's really cool to be able to have access to that.
Women making history, plus the highest ranking Latina commander in the OC. Next on Vista LA.
You have to believe that you can do it. I mean, I was a little Puerto Rican girl for so many years. And look what's happened.
Legendary singer, dancer, and actress Rita Moreno, the only Latina to have won Oscar, Emmy, Grammy, and Tony Awards, has now also been honored by the National Women's History Museum.
I'm always thrilled when my people, the Latino community, honors me. But when women as a whole, no matter what the nationality honor me, I am beside myself.
The museum is committed to preserving women's history. So, how would this extraordinarily talented Latina like to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as the one who just braved it out, who depended on perseverance, and who just somehow believed that someday, somehow, good things would happen.
In a male-dominated field, there's one commander in the Orange County Sheriff's Department who's proving the right person for the job is a Latina. Now, ABC7's Cristina Salvo finds out why Commander Linda Salorza once questioned how high she could rise.
A young deputy standing proudly alongside her patrol car. This was Linda Salorza more than 10 years ago. Her duties then, patrolling the streets of Orange County. Her duties now, overseeing all field operations and investigations for the Orange County Sheriff's Department.
That is the patrol division, it's the entire investigations division, it's the airport, it's homeland security, and it's emergency management.
Salorza is focused on the tasks at hand, proving she's the right woman for the job. After Sheriff Sandra Hutchins, Commander Salorza is the second highest ranking woman in the department.
But I have to tell you, I come from a very strong family. I have tremendous parents, role models. I was raised by a man and who said there was nothing you couldn't do. There was no limit. My mom absolutely reinforced that.
Her grandparents immigrated from Mexico, and her Latina roots are something she takes great pride in.
They came here for a better life. But my grandparents would have told you, we're going to give to this country, we're not going to take. And that really was the foundation for everything. My mother has said to me on more than one occasion, if your grandmother were alive today, she wouldn't believe it. Because she wouldn't believe a woman could do this.
27 years ago, Solorza wondered the same thing herself. With few women in the department, she questioned if she had what it took.
I think at the time, because you were so much the exception to the rule, you had to do it better. You had to do it twice as well.
Today, Commander Solorza credits her rise through the ranks to those around her, including her mentor and brother, who worked in law enforcement for more than 30 years.
And to have a brother who said, hey, I'm doing the job, women can do this job, and you can do this job, it was tremendous at the time.
Someone, you know, like Linda, who is absolutely respected by her peers and tremendous leadership ability. She's good. She's excellent at what she does.
I could sit here and talk about the great people I work with, and I do. But really, at the end of the day, it's talking to the people we serve.
Vista LA salutes Commander Linda Solorza for her commitment to serve and protect.
The oldest sport in Mexico is alive and well in LA.
If there was a portrait of America, what would it look like? A mobile art project traveling the country is attempting to answer that question, putting immigration in focus through photographs. You could call it a traveling photo booth, with each photo it takes helping to tell the powerful story of immigration. The global art project Inside Out 11M is the work of world-renowned street artist JR. It's a photo truck that drives from city to city across the U.S., taking photos of immigrants and descendants of immigrants.
It really defines who we are. We like the concept of JR, so we thought that this would be a really good place to come and promote immigration reform.
The initiative intends to start a conversation about immigration and the 11 million undocumented immigrants living in the U.S. Put on display are faces of Americans, a reminder that each one has a story. Together, they become works of public art, telling America's story.
It's important that we're all one people. We're all the same, you know, under the same sun, and it's important that we all move forward together and be productive together.
Any sort of reform is a good step forward.
Robbie Reza, a big fan of Inside Out's creator JR, has been following him on Instagram, waiting to see when the Inside Out truck would roll through LA for his headshot.
It's finally here. His projects in general, all the positive that he brings forth, that the change that he's trying to do and bring awareness to people.
Here's how it works. You sign in, enter the photo booth, and seconds later, a 35 by 55 inch photo is printed directly out of the truck.
Super stoked about it. Great art, I love it.
With a click of the camera, a 94,000 square foot building in Lincoln Heights is transformed, and the immigration movement is turned inside out.
You've probably seen them strutting horseback in a parade or competing in a rodeo show. They're the Mexican cowboy known as charros, and the tradition of charreria is very much alive and growing here in LA.
Charreria is honor, tradición y espíritu deportivo. Honor, tradition, and sportsmanship. If you don't have that, you don't belong in our organization. That's what it's about.
It's part sport, part artistry, and 100% pride in a tradition dating back to the 16th century.
Originally, it came from Spain. Horses were brought into Mexico, and then as the haciendas, the properties grew, it was very convenient to use horses. Mexicans perfected it. They used it. They started to introduce different ways of training. So everything that was practical and useful and ranch work, cattle branding, the roping, all of the ranch work that could possibly be done. So then it became a competition. Who can do it better, who can do it faster, or who can make it more elegant. And it was the pride and joy of the hacienda owners. Like, I got the best charros around.
During the Mexican Revolution, women fighters known as escaramuzas also became part of the charro tradition.
In the 1960s, charreria came into the United States. Immigrants that came over here wanted to continue their tradition and their culture. Now it's in 13 states of the United States. It is growing and so popular.
For Leonardo Lopez, charreria and family go hand in hand. He and his family have embraced and promoted this Mexican custom in LA and given it a home at the Pico Rivera Sports Arena.
This stadium, Lienzo Charro as we call it, is the most well-known outside of Mexico, this one, in the United States, right here in Pico Rivera, because it's so close to Los Angeles. We're very lucky that the city gave us a long-term lease, and the city believed on me and my family, and here we are, having a lot of fun.
The patriarch of the Lopez family is the namesake and founder of the Leonardo's Restaurant and Night.